everybody, welcome along to SportsBet TV with me, Paul Alster, with your racing selections ahead of Saturday, the 26th of March. Looking forward to some interesting racing and, of course, the start of the flat season in both Britain and Ireland. So we'll pretty soon, in a couple of weeks' time, be changing our focus very much towards flat racing after the Grand National meeting, actually. If you're new to the service, please press the subscribe button just below this screen, and then you won't miss a trick. You'll get all my bulletins free as ever, coming through to you each weekend and at all the major festivals as well. Well, I have three selections for Saturday, but just a very quick glance back at the Cheltenham Festival last week, which was a really busy and tremendously exciting time. And in all, we had 18 selections. There were two non-runners as well. Of the 17 each-way bets, 7 of them placed for nice profits at odds of 40 to 1, 33 to 1 twice, 20 to 1, 14 to 1, 10 to 1, and 8 to 1. And while we didn't get a winner, which I think was noted by a few wags in the comments section who seem not to appreciate that an each-way 40 to 1 shot is much better than somebody tipping you a 4 to 5 winner. But that aside, overall, despite not actually managed to find a winner, but plenty of places at good odds, we did show a profit of £36 to the recommended stakes. So just a marginal profit this year. Previous year, of course, was an absolute bonanza at Cheltenham, but it's great to always come out ahead. And we had plenty of shouts along the way. And I hope you enjoyed it, certainly with an average viewers of over 10,000 average over the 4 days. Tremendous to have so many people joining us here at SportsBet, and I hope you're continuing to spread the word. Well, let me just move on then, straight to Saturday's selections, tips at Kelso, Doncaster, and over in Ireland at the Curragh. I'm going to start at Kelso in the border country, and the 1:35 race there is one of their feature events on Saturday, the 2 mile 5 furlong handicap hurdle, 15 runners, and the going is forecast good. Now, this is listed as a Class 2 race, and there's a good prize. But in all honesty, between you, me, and the gatepost, most of the horses in this race, including the forecast 11-4 favourite Son of the Song, have been racing in Class 4 and 5s almost exclusively. So this is a chance for some moderate to medium grade horses to have a chance and a crack at some proper prize money. So good on Kelso, I say, giving these horses a bit of a chance. But I don't think we should be carried away that this is a high-quality handicap. It isn't. But, as I say, Son of the Song is favourite for Brian Ellison. This is a horse who's been in very good form of late. And he was just beaten a neck last time out. Trained by Brian Ellison, he's up £3 and he's very consistent. Now, Sandy Thompson, who's an old friend of this service, he's got a horse called Good Times, Bad Times, who was second at Kelso over 2 miles 6 furlongs last time out, and he hasn't got much weight to carry either, so he may not be far away. While good old Sue Smith, she's got Romeo Brown, second at Carlisle last time. He's gone up £3 for that and should be thereabouts. Tim Easterby has Sheriff Garrett, who won at Sedgefield in good style 20 days ago, but he's gone up £7 and he's got top weight. And I must give mention to Sarah Ender, who trains a horse called Demisang. Sarah's father, Neville, a very good friend of mine and a broadcast colleague for many years. And he's taken out the license there with his daughter, Sarah, training them. And they've had a few winners this year, including 2 from Demisang, who in his day was a pretty good horse in the J.P. McManus Cunners. They've revitalised him, and he's won at Wetherby and Sedgefield this term. And he's not out of it under a good £7 claimer, despite fading at Sedgefield last time. So best of luck to Sarah and Neville with Demisang up at Kelso. But I'm not going to be selecting their horse, although I will cheer for it if it does win. But my choice is Headscarf. And Headscarf Lil, I should say. Headscarf Lil for Nicky Richards and Sean Quinlan. Well, this Cumbria-based horse is one that I do think is going to go well. And certainly Nicky Richards having a pretty decent campaign already with 33 winners this term, a strike rate of 19% winners to runners at Kelso over hurdles. So That is a pretty good strike rate by anybody's standards. Now, Headscarf Lil won over 2.5 miles at Carlisle in October off 96, and then she won again at Newcastle in December off the extended 2.5 miles of a rating of 99. And last time out, over a somewhat inadequate trip of 2 miles 3, she stayed on well. The winner, he ran away with it. She really caught a tartar there, but she was fourth over 2 miles 3, staying on off a mark of 106. Now, she's been dropped a pound since then, and I think the step back up in trip is really going to suit her. And Headscarf Lil, in rock-solid form throughout the season, has got the decent ground that she needs to bring out the best in her. So I think that at the time of this recording, which is late Friday morning, an early bulletin for you, and the prices are, of course, subject to change, so do shop around. The best prices I'm seeing are 9-1 each way for 4 places with Bet365 and William Hill. So my first choice on Saturday, Headscarf Lil, 9-1 each way at Kelso in the 135. And then I'm going to focus on the flat and take you first to Doncaster, where, of course, it's the first day of the flat season on turf in Britain. It's the traditional curtain raiser at Town Moor, and at 3:35 we have the SBK Lincoln Handicap, the traditional mile cavalry charge on the straight course that starts us off for what's going to be another great season, I'm sure. The advance going is good to soft, although according to my mum over there in Leeds, not a million miles from Doncaster, it's good weather and her garden's blooming, and that means that the good to soft ground could well dry out a bit, which will probably help my selection amongst others. 22 runners declared. Now, so often the Lincoln is won by a horse that is in a handicap that is really probably a graded horse, masquerading as a handicapper, as they say. And there are 3 likely sorts in this race, but none of them are at particularly attractive prices. They're all 4-year-olds who had very good 3-year-old campaigns. Now, the first of them is Mujtaba for William Haggis, who's around 7-2 favourite and is unbeaten in 3 starts, including winning easily on its handicap debut at Redcar in soft ground towards the end of last season off 90. It's gone up £8. It could easily be a group race performer, but 7-2 in a 22-runner handicap doesn't appeal to the likes of me. You've got Charlie Appleby's Modern News, 3 from 3 in 2021. And already with a run under its belt this season, when a good third in a listed race at Meydan in Dubai in February. So that one's fitness is not in doubt. And you've got Salem, a 5-1 shot for Simon and Ed Crisford. It won 2 all-weather races at the end of last season. It's running for the first time since a breathing operation. Has gone up £10. Interesting to see if it proves as effective on turf. It isn't always the case, of course, but it certainly was very progressive on the all-weather tracks at the end of last season. Now, aside of those 3 unexposed 4-year-olds who head the market, there are plenty of others with a chance who are rather more familiar to us, including the race-fit Notre Belle Bete for Andrew Balding, who won the Lincoln Trial at Wolverhampton just 14 days ago and runs under a £5 penalty. Very interesting runner. There's been quite a bit of talk about this one. Is a classy French import trained by David O'Mara in Yorkshire called Darkness. It's its first run for the yard. It was placed in a Group 3 at Longshot for its previous handlers in France last season, and it potentially could be anything. Now, last season in the Lincoln, I tipped Brunch, who ran really well to be second to Hakiki for the Michael Dodd stable, and he's back for more. He's absolutely rock solid, this horse, and he goes well fresh. And he's only £4 higher than when he beat All Bar Hakiki in the race 12 months ago. And at a very big price, I did consider the prospects of What's the Story for the Keith Dalglish stable, the Scottish yard, another one who also goes very well fresh, and he really is quite feasibly handicapped at odds of around 33-1. But in the end, I have come down quite solidly with a horse called Amethyst, who is trained by William Haggis, who of course also has the favourite Mujtaba, and Amethyst is the mount of the excellent young Kieran Fallon. Now, Amethyst is 4 from 8, so has a 50% winning strike rate, and his last win was off 90 over 7 furlongs at Newmarket in July. And that was on the July course, rather, at Newmarket. Now, on his last run, he stayed on well, went third over 9 furlongs. And that, of course, was in the Cambridgeshire, down on the Rowley Mile. And he finished off really well. That was behind Bedouin Story, who you may remember won it for Godolphin, coming from almost last to first. But Amethyst ran a cracker. He showed that although he hasn't won a mile, he certainly stays it because he was staying on strongly at the end of that 9 furlongs to be third in the Cambridgeshire. So this is a horse who is of interest. He's gone up £2. Now, in the Cambridgeshire, he wore cheek pieces for the first time. That seemed to improve him. And he's got the cheek pieces on again on Saturday. He's also won first time out last year. So the chances are he will be fit and ready to roll. Not every horse is the type to be able to be at its best first time out, but it seems that Amethyst is. And he's drawn in 13, which is a fairly central draw, which is something I like. It means Kieran can judge whichever side he wants to follow. If he feels one side has got an advantage over the other, he's able to follow them, all being well. The drier ground as well, the better. So if my mum's weather forecast is right, it will help Amethyst. And it's also running in the colours of Cheveley Park, who can do no wrong. They had that amazing Cheltenham, including the likes of Allaho in the Ryanair, and of course the brilliant A Plus Tard in the Cheltenham Gold Cup. So they're on a roll, Cheveley Park, and I think Amethyst can keep that going. And he's 16-1 each way offered for 6 places with a number of firms at the time of this recording. So Amethyst is my choice to win the Lincoln Handicap for William Haggis, not with his favourite, but with this horse who's a nice double-figure price. And then my final choice on Saturday is over in Ireland, where it's also their first day of the turf season. And we go to the Curragh, the home of Irish flat racing, and the 4:16 race is the Paddy Power Irish Lincolnshire Handicap, even though there's no Lincolnshire in Ireland, of course. It's over a mile, and there are 27 runners. The going forecast is yielding, but again, there's a possibility that might dry out. It could be good to yielding ground by the time they start thundering down the Curragh. Now, as ever, it looks a completely open race, much more so, I have to say, than the Lincoln at Doncaster, and that is reflected in the betting, because they're betting 10-1 the field, which is extraordinary, really. Current Option is one of the 10-1 joint favourites. He's one of 7 in the race, trained by Adrian McGuinness. And this horse won the Ahanora Handicap at the Galway Festival last season, and he's had a pipe opener at Dundalk last month. Horse expected to run well, it would appear. Now, also at 10-1 is Carry the One for Johnny Murter, who won over course and distance in September of 2020. And then he won at Gowran in September of 2021 before finishing second in a Group 3 at Tipperary last October. So a horse who was quite progressive last season. Now, Johnny Murter also introduces a horse that many of you will be familiar with because he was trained last season by Roger Varian, and his name is Radabarg. He did really well for Roger Varian last season, but he was bought at the end of last term, and this classy handicapper makes his debut in Ireland for Johnny Murter on Saturday at the Curragh. Now, amongst the others, I'm not going to go through too many more, but a Handful of Summers, trained by Fozzie Stack, and San Andreas, trained by Joseph O'Brien, are both respected. And what I want to point out in this race is a trend that I've noted, which is that the draw has been really quite important in this race in recent years, with single-figure draws or low teens at the highest, having really dominated. Now, I was really interested in a horse called Star of Cashel, who was a close fourth in this race last year after hitting the front at the furlong pole, but he's drawn right out in stall 30, and that has put me off. So bearing in mind the draw, one horse that I think has been overlooked, and is overlooked time and time again, is Sir Jack Thomas. And Sir Jack Thomas, one of the 7 trained by Adrian McGuinness, and the mount of the excellent young Irish apprentice Jake Cohen, who claims a valuable £7, well, he's my choice. Now, Sir Jack Thomas won a course and distance handicap on Irish Derby Day last season, 25 to 1 shot. He popped up at the meeting then off 83. And then they ignored him again next time out when he ran off 90 in a €100,000 red-hot handicap, the BMW Mile at the Galway Festival. And blow me down, he went in again, won by 3 lengths, pulling a cart at 50 to 1. So twice last season, they ignored this horse. Now, his form just tailed off towards the end of last season. I think he'd done all his winning and he was high enough in the weights, but he has come down. He's come down from 100 to 96. He's got the excellent Jake Cohen on board, who claims £7, taking him down to 89, which is £1 lower than his Galway Festival win last summer. Now, on top of that, he's drawn low in stall 6, and that is going to be a big help, I think. Another important factor for Sir Jack Thomas is that this lovely grey has to have a really strong pace, because if he doesn't get a strong pace, he doesn't settle. And if he has a strong pace, he'll be able to just drop his head, settle and follow them, and then gradually pick them off. And he's normally a horse who appears late on the scene, but you'll pick him out, a grey who's getting lighter every year. I think he looks very, very good value. And he also was only beaten half a length first time out last season, which shows he can be gotten ready after a break. So this horse, who won over course and distance last year in a really hot handicap at the Irish Derby meeting, once again, his odds are very, very tempting. He is 5-0, 50 to 1, Sir Jack Thomas. At the time of this recording, that's offered each way for 5 places with Bet, Victor and Parry match. I've got little doubt that they'll be offering more places by the time you see this, or if you wait until Saturday possibly. But also at the time of this recording, you can bet for 7 places if you prefer, and that's at 40 to 1 each way with the likes of Sky Bet and Betfred. So shop around and choose whichever odds or place terms suit you if you're going to be following me with Sir Jack Thomas in the Irish Lincolnshire at 50 to 1 each way at the Curragh on Saturday at 4:16. So 3 runners there for you to consider. You can follow me or, of course, completely ignore it and go with your own choices. I'll be having a little each way patent, the 3 of them, 7 bets, of course. I wish you the very best of luck. And I'll be back again, same time more or less, next week to look at the weekend's action. So I very much hope you'll join me for that. But for now, from me, Paul Alster at SportBet, enjoy your weekend racing and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.